This episode of MMA Nuts is brought to you by Freshly, chef-cooked healthy meals delivered to your door. Save $20 off the 6-meal plan for first-time users with code MMA639. J&P Cycles, the best aftermarket parts and accessories for your motorcycle. Save up to 30% off with code MMAN. Butcher Box, get grass-fed meats delivered to your house. Get $10 off with code MMA Nuts. Liquid Web, save 34% off for 3 months with code MMAN34OFF. Defense Soap, the ultimate soap for wrestlers, jiu-jitsu, and MMA athletes, with the new peppermint oil bars and shower gel. Use code MMA Nuts for 15% off. Hey fans, it's MMA Nuts, episode 351!
351!
My name's Ingo Weigel.
McGregor MMA show by MMA fans, for MMA fans. We're walking the line between serious and ridiculous. Going on.
Labor Day weekend, sir.
That's right.
Long, nice holiday.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're right into fall weather. It's hot in the day and it's cold in the night.
That should be,
There
right?
should be a song about that, but okay.
Hot in the day, cold in the night. We like pussy when it's tight. What?
Okay. I like where you're going with this.
Okay then.
Yes.
It's always the best way to start off a show.
It is.
Sponsors love us.
Yes, they do. So let's talk a little bit of sports, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Real quick, one fight from this weekend.
Please.
The Battle of the Giants. Volkov versus Stefan. I'll poke you 4 times in the fight. Struve, and not get a point taken away from Mark Goddard. I gave him a couple warnings. It was 2 straight up eye pokes. I think after the second one, you do it again, I'm taking a point away. So the third one was a mutual eye poke, where they both got each other. No point taken away. Then there was a 4th one that went okay. We didn't even stop the fight. So apparently you could poke someone in the eye 4 times and not take a point away. And we just get to the point where we take, it's a penalty regardless of whether you did it intentionally or not. You get poked in the eye, 1 point. Or the guy can kick you in the groin.
Yes, I was going to say, that's another option.
Should be tit for tat.
Yes, eye poke for groin shot. At least Stefan is using his range now. No? I mean,
somewhat. With the eye pokes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll give you that.
He's doing that.
It was debatable. I mean, he looked a little bit better. Yeah. Volkov gets the 3rd round TKO. And looking at Struve, I was looking through his record. He's got 3 wins in his last 7 fights. He's been getting TKO'd a lot. Is it time for Stefan Struve? He does have that heart condition or whatever.
Yep, still under 30, isn't he? 29?
Yeah, he's 29. Yeah. 7-footer. The other guy was 6'7".
If Overeem can make a comeback, and this is about that time he did that in late 20s, right? So maybe he needs to go and you know, take care of a little business.
Supplementation.
Make that comeback.
Horse meat Stefan Struve. Can you imagine him coming back?
I don't know. That'd be kind
of
scary.
He might be 320. Yeah. I don't know how much he's cutting.
He's cut that weight. But yeah, I mean, he's in the Bigfoot Silva territory here at 29. So. I mean, I'm concerned for his health, and he's had a lot of fights. He's had a lot of KOs, TKOs, a lot of bloody battles, if you recall. He's messed up a few times. He's got the heart condition. I mean, his body's been through hell and back. Are you sure he's not Brazilian? I mean, I feel like he's like in the Van.
Well, I don't hear him making excuses when he loses.
So, okay.
I can't say he
That's the difference. I see. Because I'm thinking of like the Nogueiras who look like they're 90. And
well, I think that's Pride and
or Vanderlei.
Holy
another
fuck.
one. It's like fuck, beat up the hell. But I don't know. You know, the heavyweight division is so weird.
Oh, it's crazy. I just looked at the rankings because, you know, Junior Dos Santos is out for testing positive for a diuretic. I think Rothwell is still gone. So you look at the top 10, you know, there's a bunch of guys who you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like Mark Hunt's fighting, who the fuck is that guy?
Exactly. I can't remember because I've never heard of him.
Like literally. So it's so many not impressive names in the rankings. It's kind of like light heavyweight now.
Yes.
Especially with, you know,
Mr. Jon Jones.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about him?
Well, I was going to say
good struggles. And
we should talk about this because he was you know, okay. So there was some drug testing that happened. They take blood and urine tests, which I didn't know this, but they apparently, I found this out recently, they test for different things because certain substances are easier to detect in one or the other. And apparently the blood test came up clean and the urine test didn't, but from everything I understand about it, is the blood test doesn't actually test for the substance that he tested positive for in the urine.
And the urine test, which he failed for, was on day of the weigh-ins, and that tested for the T-ball. And the blood test, which he passed, was the fight night. Doesn't test for that.
Right. So he was clean.
And the real weird thing was, why would USADA tweet out that Jon Jones passed his blood test on fight night? They tweeted that out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
They referred to the MMA fighting article. So I'm a little confused as to why are they posting that out when they're the ones who caught him with the urine test? Because that's not making a case for themselves as to, like, he's guilty. Now to me, it seems like they're throwing out a seed of doubt, no?
The whole thing smells fishy to me. I don't know who's in charge of what, or if this is a PR move, if you know, Ariel's kind of like involved somehow and he's trying to play devil's advocate. I don't know what's going on, but they're definitely, when I first read that, I was like, oh, and then I read the details, and I wonder how many people just read the headlines and go, oh, Jon Jones got fucked on the testing. I mean, it's weird, and he never, one thing I couldn't recall, and I don't think it says it in the article, is do they urine test like 2 weeks, a week, a month out from the test, or is it only
I think
blood?
Everything's random, and I don't know, because I thought when they did the random drug test, I thought they're collecting both. I thought you got both blood and urine, but that may not be the case.
No, I don't think so. I think that it varies. From if I recall,
maybe it's so random, they just flip a coin. It's either heads, blood, tails, urine, it lands in the middle. We take them both.
Take them both. Because I thought Chael said something about this, maybe, or even was it Tim Kennedy? Something about taking a piss test but not a blood test, or a blood test. But it's fishy that you had said this before, that he would fail this fight night thing because you know you're going to get tested. But at the same time, I wonder if somehow they skated by on blood tests only for a month or two out, and they thought they'd get away with it, and it just wasn't out of his system long enough. I don't know. But, you know, these days with the testing, I think fighters are looking for any edge. So if there's some weird loophole somebody finds where they think they can skirt by on some obscure, I mean, nobody takes the steroid anymore. It's horrible on your system.
No, and I forget who it was. If it was Chael Sonnen or some other fighter talking about maybe he got something that wasn't what he thought he was going to get. Or,
like what, for example, dick pills?
No, I mean, maybe he's taking a PED, but what he thought he was getting was something different. So maybe they gave him the T-ball when it was supposed to be something else. Or his cocktail was a little bit off.
I see.
And that's what showed up.
We couldn't clear it quite right the night of the fight.
Because I would imagine the guys at the top probably taking something still. I mean, it's usually, who is it, the Victor Conte talking that if you got the money, we'll design you some shit that should be undetectable.
Well, I mean, in baseball, that was a big thing. They were doing that rubbing stuff. That would be in and out of your body in like a couple hours. It'd be out of your system.
And I think they had like bubble gum and stuff. Or gummy bears, like, right?
Yep.
Testosterone gummy bears.
All kinds of crazy
hours.
Stuff. Yeah. That's it. Just long enough to kind of like get you spiked up a little and then lower you back down. So who knows? But I'm going to go ahead and say that my bet is on that he did do this knowingly, and either it was, like you said, something different than he expected, or they just fucked up with the timing of everything. And, you know, unfortunately, this is where we're at. Was it Rogan? I thought I heard him say this week he's like the greatest of all time fuck up, like, ever.
Well, that's the problem, is he doesn't have the cleanest track record. So at this point, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. I think he's lost the benefit of the doubt when you look at, you know, car accidents and running away from stuff and a previous steroid thing, like
running into
hiding under the octagon at Jackson Winklejohn's from the Chael Sonnen story. I mean,
he did save that person in New York, remember? I think that was a plant. Now thinking back now, I feel like that might have been a plant of some sort. Remember how he was like all like saved a robber or something? So, like
and wasn't it the night he was supposed to fight Shogun?
Yes.
For the
yes.
Like, what is this guy? He's Superman.
I feel like that was a plant.
Well, it was a drug deal gone bad, right?
Could have been that. Drug dealer. Kick this
why
guy's ass,
is he
took
doing
my money.
this? That's right.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about PEDs. I know how you feel about a lot of things about certain areas, but does it matter to you if Jon Jones is a cheater or not? You care?
I don't care.
You still think he's the greatest of all time?
Of course, because again, it goes back to, it doesn't matter what you put in your system. You still have to do the work. You can't just take everything and, oh, you're still the greatest.
Yeah.
No, you have to actually do the work. It's the same thing in baseball. These guys just, so they hit a couple more home runs. Do you think they didn't do any work? Everyone has to do the work. It just helps them recover. It helps them get a little bit of an edge.
Okay.
And in my book, I don't care, but I think I'm in a minority here.
You might be. Yeah, I have a hard time with it. But the one thing I don't know is who's doing what. So it's like, I mean, if my heroes are also on all kinds of shit, I don't know. I mean,
you know, pre-USADA, I think the consensus was 85–90% of all the fighters are on something.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what percentage. I mean, I would imagine it's just the elite of the elite. So it would be the people that have the money. It would be the Jon Jones. It would be the Conor McGregors. You'd have to have top-end money for top-end stuff.
Yeah.
It's undetectable. So I saw Jon Jones is getting all religious on Twitter again.
I think it was high.
So he posted this one. Maybe you can help me with this. It says, "My life is yours. Let your will be done."
Yeah. I know he's
about.
He's talking about God and Jesus, letting you know, whatever happens, happen. Putting his faith in God and all these things. But I think he was high. It was on a Saturday night. Probably fucked up.
Yeah. Well, he ain't gonna stop. Jon Jones is Jon Jones.
Getting all fucked up. I love you, baby Jesus. No, I don't know. But that has nothing to do with anything. He could be a Christian and still be a fuck up. It's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's a sad story because, you know, I keep telling people, and I've said this to you, and you're like, oh, he's reformed. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I hate that I'm right about this.
Well, I don't say he's reformed. I just think he's being himself now. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Or he's not putting on that
he definitely was more humble after the fight he won recently.
100%.
You know, he seemed more genuine, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's still, I mean, God, what a troubled individual. When you look at it, you go, man, here's a guy, and how come his brothers, you know, I don't know, the NFL, I mean, couldn't they get, like, him some good shit or whatever? If you're going to...
Well, again, at least in the NFL, they know when they're going to get tested, right? I think their goal is to not get anybody caught versus, you know, USADA and the UFC, get everybody caught. It's a whole different philosophy here.
Yeah. Damn it, USADA.
I still don't understand why they're around. Again, especially if you're a new owner, this is not good. This is your second biggest draw in the UFC right now, behind Conor McGregor, and then arguably it's Chris Cyborg and maybe a Diaz if they ever fight again.
Yes.
You know?
Speaking of the third biggest draw in the UFC, Nate Diaz is asking for $20 million to fight Conor McGregor. Maybe 30, actually. So my question to you is, do you think he's going to get that money, and do you think he deserves that money, and is he the third most popular fighter in the UFC at this point?
It's debatable third, but I think it's third only if he fights Conor McGregor.
Otherwise, no.
Right. I think he's a draw, but I don't... I still say Cyborg is higher. I think it's McGregor, Jon Jones, Chris Cyborg. I gotta say it's probably Nate Diaz next.
You think Nate Diaz?
Who else do you put on that list? Nick. Well, if Nick came back in, I think Nick's over Nate, just based on reputation.
I really think GSP's going to draw. I really do.
Really?
I feel like he would.
I feel like he's lost all his flavor.
You think so?
Unless all of Canada is still in support.
Yeah,
it could be.
I think they would be. I think they would be. I think GSP's got to be sort of in the mix up there. I mean, heavyweights has nobody dynamic like this, but
no.
It's insane to me to think that he's going to ask for this kind of money, because even disclosed cat, no one's made this kind of money like disclosed money. I mean, maybe in the whole package deal, only Conor perhaps has come close. I think so. I recall reading somewhere back a few years ago that GSP was making somewhere upwards of $10 million a fight, something like that.
I would argue Conor's probably making 15.
Yeah. Like
in the last couple of fights, but you know, back to Nate, the only fight, and I think Conor said it, he wants the third fight with Nate Diaz at 155. So Nate is kind of in a driver's seat right now, because if Conor wants something, he's going to get it. And if Nate's saying, well, it's going to take 20 to 30 million, and Conor is pushing. I want that Nate fight. I don't think he's going to get the 20 to 30, but I could see him getting 10. I could see him getting 10.
It's about time.
And I could see, you know, and again, what is Conor going to get? If you're going to give Nate 10,
he wants 50 million or something crazy,
he has
doesn't
to.
he?
That's what I said. If you just made 100 million, you need 50 plus ownership.
Yeah, he's asking crazy money. Dude.
But I think Nate's in the perfect position right now.
Well, here's a more important question.
Sure.
Are these guys combined going to contribute to sinking the sport in this respect? Because this is a huge payroll. This is
I think the pay-per-view will match whatever this is.
You think?
Because I would argue
2 million at 50
well,
bucks?
let's say, like, what was it? Their last fight did 1.6 million, whatever that was. So the third fight should do more than 1.6, and if I want to save the Mayweather McGregor discussion, let's say that broke the records. And then he's going to bring some boxing fans over. I would argue, I said anybody that Conor fights in his next fight would do 2 million pay-per-view buys. I would say him and Nate Diaz may do 2.5 to 3 million.
Wow.
I mean, I think there's crazy demand for that fight. Because you look at the first two, those are the kind of fights I like. The first one was, you know, Conor early, and then like, oh fuck, he got tired again. Oh shit, you know. But the second one is that back and forth that I love, and you finally get a winner. But again, no one got finished in that one. So I feel like you need to have that third one. They each have a win, and someone will debate the second one and say, well, I thought Diaz won. So I think Conor needs to have a finish over Nate Diaz, which is hard.
It's going to be difficult to do.
How are you going to get that, you know?
Yeah. And the big question is, can Conor fix his cardio problems?
Right. So there are a lot of people talking about this cardio. You know, Michael Bisping was recently asked about, like, what do you think about his issues? He was talking about, man needs to run. He's got to do the road work. And I was talking to my brother, who used to be a personal trainer for professional athletes, and I asked him the same question. Like, we saw Conor doing all sorts of bicycling, all sorts of rowing. He did 0 running. I don't know if it was just because his knees are jacked up, or he had knee surgery, or he just doesn't like it. He's like, yeah, he kind of does. I mean, you have to do your extra work needs to be similar to what the current work is. If you're going to be standing and moving around and striking like that, it's obviously sparring is important, but your extra work should be some running.
So just putting the miles in. Mike Tyson used to get up at like 4 in the morning, and his only reason was because it was like, no, the other guy's not doing that, I'm doing it, and run miles. But I wonder, you know, with a guy like Conor who's got all these issues with his legs, like, is that going to be detrimental to his training?
I think he's got to take the chance, because he's proved that out in 3 fights now.
So like, you think how much running are we talking about here? Did your brother specify?
No. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at both the Diaz fights, there was a cardio issue in both. And then the Mayweather fight, there was a huge issue.
Okay.
And the Alvarez one, there wasn't, because he got finished right away. And mostly it's like either finishes in the first round, or we're going to have a little problem if we go past round 3.
Yeah.
He needs to run.
I think Mike Tyson needs to run 6 miles every day. Something like ridiculous like this. That's a lot of miles. Every week, week in, week out during training camp.
He's got to do something.
5,
I mean,
6, 7 days
and that's the crazy thing when you think about, he's at like the UFC Performance Institute, and he's got all these great people around him and high-tech shit, and he's kind of like the Russian and Rocky with all the high-tech shit. Still didn't work. Still didn't work.
So the
cardio-wise.
Old school, just old-fashioned, get on the road and...
You gotta get the side of beef up and start hitting
put
it,
the
man.
headphones on, hoodie, and just
fucking
go.
out in the winter. You
go.
gotta go up to Canada. Maybe you train with GSP or something, man.
Well, that'd be an idea. And then they have to fight each other at some point. There's a story.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. Oops, I just bumped my mic. I'm curious how much running. I would really love to know. I don't know if anybody out there is watching the show has any idea, but like how much actual running would help his cardio improve? Is it a 5K every day? Is it like big miles, like a couple times a week, like talking about 10, 20 miles or something? or is it just the consistency of day in, day out, just running?
I would think the experts around him should be able to figure that shit out, or hire someone that they understand this aspect. Like, what does a Nate Diaz do? What does a Nick Diaz do?
Triathlons,
right?
Bicycling,
so run,
swimming,
bike, swim.
running. You know, I think the Diaz brothers are.
What does a Michael Bisping do? What does he say?
He runs a shitload. Yeah.
Right. So look at that. You're gonna lose a little bit of power, I imagine, but you got to find that balance of what's too much.
Cardio for days.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need that much more, but he needs something, because that is where he is lacking. Right?
The cardio, for sure. It's been proven day in and day out. The only time we haven't seen a problem is, like you said, when he finishes early.
And you can't finish Nate Diaz. Well, you can, but it's very, very difficult.
Because it's that third round, that midway point. It's like that 12, 13-minute mark is when you start to run into trouble. Hey, and that's exactly what happened in the Mayweather fight, too. Think fourth round finish. Uh-oh. You know, 12 minutes, 11 minutes. Conor's getting tired. That's weird, you know. I think it might be partially mental, but at the same time, if you can get the combo. So he's got all this money. He could do the running thing and then also get like some kind of sports psychologist coach, you know, to make sure that his, you know, cardio doesn't dip.
Yeah, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars.
Simple fix, get a treadmill.
Can you run in a pool?
Get a treadmill.
Can we simulate, like, would that be less impactful, but you're still doing something?
I don't know. I think there's...
Underwater treadmill?
Yeah. I think there is definitely something about the physical running aspect.
Yeah.
Because I try to do the treadmill, I try to do the elliptical, I try to do a lot of shit. Yeah, you can get a good sweat going, but it's still not... There is something about physically moving your body on, like, the road that... It's just maybe the pounding and all that stuff, it just wears you down. And just like in the course of a fight, if you're moving around, maybe like your brother, you said your brother said this, like standing up is the key. So I hope he figures it out. And I would say, I would agree with your 2.5 million assessment. That sounds about right.
It's going to be huge. Has to. They don't have anything else. Because you think about the promotion they would do.
They need a co-main event, though. They will need something big. A cyborg.
Cyborg Rousey? Cyborg Rousey!
No, Rousey's not fighting anytime soon.
Come on!
She just got married.
Cyborg... Ino?
Maybe.
Cyborg
versus Cyborg.
Yeah. The problem is Cyborg versus anybody. I don't know. Cyborg Rousey would be the biggest. If they could it's near her enough. It's just... I don't see that.
Cyborg versus... Not Ino.
Because Jon's gone. Jon Jones,
he's
just
gone.
write him off. And the rumor was Brock Lesnar was going to come back, but since Jon is not, or we have a question mark by Jon right now, we know Jon Jones, Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's talk about that Mayweather-McGregor a little bit. The rumors were coming in saying that pay-per-view did 6.5 million buys.
Ooh. There's
some other ones saying high fours, but I think it was Dana White saying 6.5. I'm going to go with that number. Are you impressed? And that's like 2 million more. Plus, let's take into account, I think there were 3 million at least illegal streams, and I don't know how much, you know, people that didn't pay for this and just pirated it.
Just my experience was coming back on the train from a concert in the city. People were streaming it on Facebook. I mean, the whole fucking train was watching this on Facebook. So if that is a small segment of who was not paying for the pay-per-view, I would say that number is ridiculous, and it should be probably double that because, you know, so...
And then take into account what? The refunds at the UFC?
There's a slew of refunds happening. They just announced this week because there were so many problems with the pay-per-view system. They were flooded. They couldn't handle the demand, UFC TV, whatever. They ended up having people try to go to like some other version, Showtime.
Yeah, they went to Showtime. They went, and then the UFC fired New Line, who was their streaming partner, and hired someone else because of all this.
Yes, couldn't keep up with it. So I don't know the details of it was an infrastructure issue or just billing problems or what. But when that kind of stuff happens, that means that demand exceeded capacity, which means it's like the biggest ever. Because you would think the guys who are behind this stuff that are planning would say, we're going to plan for the biggest ever and, a little bit more, but you guys went like over that.
Yeah.
So
we've purchased an extra 100 server capacity versus the one we had. We actually needed 1,000. So sorry.
It's just like Silicon Valley style, like, but
in garages.
Exactly. So it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I'm impressed. I would say it did more than I thought it would overall, based on what you just said. So
my estimate was 7 to 8. So
I think you're right there. I think 10 million people watch this at some point. I would say easily.
Yeah, if you take into account all the pirates.
Yeah, legally, illegally, and everything else. So, and even 2 weeks later, people are still talking about it. I still have conversations with random people, or overhear people discussing it. You know, randomly. Just this weekend, I was like, you know, I get a question. So, did you watch that fight? And you know, like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, you watch boxing? And they're like, no. But you know, it was like there was a thing to do. Everybody was doing it, so I went and checked it out, and I was pretty impressed. And so people were coming out watching this thing who don't even like combat sports, but just going because it's like the Super Bowl. It's something's happening. I have to be there. So when you can create that kind of hype, I think it's pretty impressive. And it would be nice if the UFC can capitalize on this McGregor Diaz thing and kind of recreate that magic somehow. So I feel like Mayweather's going to be involved in this somehow. Something tells me.
What is he going to do, though? I don't see what he's going to do to make it any better.
Bring his people.
The roid monkeys?
No. His crowd over.
Oh. Well, the boxing people, yeah. I think they're going to come naturally with or without said Mayweather. Yeah.
Perhaps.
I would hope so. Because, I mean, Conor did enough to represent.
He did.
Gave a respectable performance, enough to possibly bring other fans in. Plus, with all the Showtime All Access they did, they opened him up to a whole nother market of people.
Yeah.
On that aspect.
Dude, that UFC TV shit was boring as shit. So I hope they do. Is that what you're talking about? The All Access where he's working out the whole time and stuff?
I'm saying where Conor was doing stuff and Mayweather was just roller skating.
Oh,
riding his bike.
Yeah. Okay.
Not training, but I think that was again back to Mayweather saying he wanted to protect his hands at last month, so he wasn't doing any sparring. Which makes sense.
He knows what he's doing.
So Brett Okamoto from ESPN posted an article about the top MMA trainers and their biggest mistakes. So I'm gonna list out these guys and what they said were the biggest mistakes, and we'll talk about if we agree or disagree.
Okay.
So Jason Perillo was saying his biggest mistake was letting BJ Penn move up in weight to 170 pounds and fight GSP. And he said, looking back, I would have definitely been against it. Again, not because I didn't think Penn could beat GSP, but it sent him in that direction of fighting at 170 pounds when he was on his way of being recognized as the best 155-pound fighter of all time. And right before he fought GSP, he was the 155-pound champion when he moved up. And he got severely beat down by Mr. GSP.
You got out-cardioed, out-wrestled, out a lot of things, and just pummeled.
I thought that fight should have kept going.
I know. You know, I feel like that was one of those times where maybe a guy was pushed beyond his comfort zone so far that maybe doubt started to set into his mind, and he was never. I don't think he was ever quite the same after that. Like,
well, at his record, he was floating between like 170 and 155, but at 170, his record was 1-3-1. So he had that loss to GSP. Then he beat Matt Hughes. We saw that one. Then he draw with John Fitch, a loss to Nick Diaz, and a loss to Roy McDonald. The problem is that's fucking murderer's row of 170-pounders. So I don't know if it's the weight class per se, or it's also the age catching up. Because in the same span of time, you add the end of his career in, he went 3-8-1.
Oof.
So. Ouch. Everything, it could have been cumulative. Like, age is creeping up at the same time. He's hitting this 170. He's fighting all these fucking tough guys. So I don't know if him moving up, I don't know if I can agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think there could have been other things he could have picked. Like, you know, probably letting BJ train the way he does, letting BJ have people around him the way he does, you know. Yeah, I would agree with you. Maybe that's not, I don't know if that's the biggest mistake. Perhaps not. But I wasn't there, so I don't know what's the mindset of BJ. Maybe,
it's hard to say.
Maybe allowed him to eat more poi, you know?
And that's just him talking about what he thought it was his mistake. There could be other fighters, but specifically to BJ Penn, we both don't agree.
Okay.
All right. Mark Henry said he overtrained Frankie Edgar for the second Jose Aldo fight. He said he was looking very explosive for about the first month of camp. Quick twitch, reacting fast, and then the last 4 weeks it just fizzled out. We totally overtrained him. What do you think about that? You agree with that assessment or disagree? Is this just an excuse?
I don't know. I mean, I've never really seen Frankie look that much different in his fights where his performance was lacking, in my opinion. If it was minor, you know, so minor that I wouldn't, the general viewing audience wouldn't have noticed it. I don't recall there ever being like a dip in his ridiculous cardio or any of that stuff. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not in the cage, so maybe his power and all that had waned because of that. I don't know, but maybe. I mean, I'm sure overtraining happens all the time in the sport.
Yeah, Michael Bisping is like the supreme example of that.
Yeah.
But this case, I don't. It's hard to say, but I think Jose Aldo beats him every day of the week. I think it's a style versus style, regardless of how conditioned Frankie is or overtrained he is. And Jose was dialed in on that night.
Oh, he was.
He was hitting him with like, I think he hit him with like a jumping left hook as he came in, and stupid yellow octagon.
He was on point. Oh, that was the.
I think that was the UFC 200.
Anderson Silva
right?
was on that card too, right?
DC, yeah.
Yep.
Terrible fight. And then the last one was Duke Rufus said, the biggest mistake I've ever made is being part of Anthony Pettis fighting at 145 pounds. What all fighters can learn from that is get better at your own weight class. Losing weight is not the answer. Agree or disagree?
100% agree.
Yep.
I think Pettis looked like shit at 145. So, I mean,
he might even need to fight at 170.
Maybe.
I think everybody needs to move up
Maybe.
at least a weight class, but 55 I think is probably the right class.
Look at another guy that comes to mind is like Cerrone, how solid he looked at 170. I think
Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
170.
The only reason that Cerrone lost is because I think he took wasn't that his 5th fight that year or something crazy? His amount of fighting is too much. I mean, versus the weight class is probably perfect. So I agree. I think cutting, and look at, the most extreme case I recall is freaking Kenny Florian. He lost, he cuts weight. Oh, I got lost again. I got to cut more weight. I lost again. He went like down 3 weight classes in the course of a year.
BJ Penn. But so I'm fighting at 55. I go up to 70, and then I'm going to 55. Now I'm 45. I'm going to close out my career at 45.
It's ridiculous. The weight isn't the issue 99% of the time, I'd say.
No, and I actually, in a lot of cases, think everyone should move up.
You look better.
Like Cormier, you were a fucking heavyweight. Fight at heavyweight. He was killing at heavyweight. But again, who knows what's going to happen with him. And
get his belt back,
205.
sounds like.
Fuck, I'm going to get that belt again.
Hell yeah.
Shit, that's not the way to get it.
Are you sure he didn't taint Jon Jones's piss?
He might have.
He might have pissed in that cup for him.
Might have.
Like, hey, this is my piss. Look at the T-ball in there. What's up with that?
It's true. I'm scanning through here. What else? Ronda Rousey, Travis Browne got married.
Yes, we said earlier, yes.
Are they both done fighting at this point?
I would say probably. I don't know. Travis Browne might have more fights, but what were we saying? You were saying something about alternative careers?
Oh, I think they're going to go into pro wrestling. I think Ronda was doing some WWE shit. I think she's been leaning that way her whole life. I don't know about Travis Browne if he's going to
They make a good combo. They can do like husband-wife kind of storyline thing. That'd be something. Huh? Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
What else? Ben Askren's going to fight Shinya Aoki
for a retirement fight?
Yep. Are you surprised we never saw him in the UFC?
No. I think he got blackballed back in the day, in a way, and then his style just not exciting, so it just is what it is. I mean, I definitely think I would have liked to see him compete at this level and see what happens, but at the same time, I'm not upset that he didn't because I feel like we'd be getting the same product.
Yeah, I agree. I don't need to see that.
No.
Like, if you're going to bring the best in, you got to have entertainment. Entertainment, to me, trumps your skills. GSP. I'm just looking at you.
Yes.
What's the last thing? Mark Fairley on Twitter, he tweeted this out. He said, lots of people laughing at Michael Phelps challenging Conor McGregor to a little swimming race. He said, but consider this. McGregor, he's got the age advantage. He's also a southpaw. Phelps hasn't raced in over a year. Irish people are surrounded by water. McGregor won't hire a swimming coach, so he'll use a whole range of weird and brilliant swimming strokes that Phelps won't be used to. I like that one. If Conor can wear him out in the first 100 meters, then anything's possible. And then lastly, he's been obsessed with aquatic movement since he was a child. So he's got a chance. They can go,
okay,
him versus Phelps. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Why not? Phelps is probably high as fuck. He's like, I'm going to challenge Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Might as well challenge. But he's got no chance in any other sport. It's a combat sport, so go fuck yourself. Even jiu-jitsu, I don't like his chances.
No. It's like a blue belt only.
Right.
Yeah.
You got any other news for
yeah, before I forget, I got one thing. Enson Inoue apparently got a little road rage action happened to him where some fool decided to get in his shit.
You followed him home, right?
Followed him home, got out of his car, walking towards him, and here's what Enson said. He posted the dude's picture up and
a license plate.
And a license plate. So like, this dude blasted his horn at me. He turned and followed me to my house. He parked his car down the street, got out and was walking towards my house until he saw me get out of my car. He then stopped and seemed to hesitate in what to do. When I began walking towards him, can you imagine? Like Enson Inoue, the guy who was like known for his heart in the cage and ring I should say. You're like, oh fucking shit. And he said basically this dude looked like he was gonna shit his pants, and he decided to let him live. Basically, it's like, I'm gonna let you go. You know. So my thought to you is why in this day and age are people so stupid that they still think they can road rage on somebody, get out of their car or whatever else, and do this kind of stupid shit? Because never mind Enson Inoue, people have guns, people have tasers. People, I mean, people are crazy. Why would you? What kind of stupid person does this over a car situation? You know, why?
Is there stupid people out there? You kind of answer your own question.
Yeah.
They're never going to go away.
No, they're always going to be stupid people.
But I feel like sometimes they need to be back in their place. Maybe Enson should have put him in his place and said, well, since you were going to do this to someone, maybe someone needs to do it to you. At least one punch. But he probably doesn't want to get sued.
Well, I wonder, yeah, he'd probably be in big trouble. I don't know. He's lucky he didn't run into one of the Gracies. They'd be like, hey, come
yeah, well,
here.
that's the thing. I mean, you could easily just take him down and submit him, right? You don't have to, like, Enzo.
You come to my place
Enzo,
and you to fuck with me?
Who's live tweeting when, like, the two guys are jumping him.
You wake up, I choke you again.
And you got a Tabasco bottle right up your ass.
How many times can you wake up and fall asleep, you know? But
that's a good question.
I kill you again.
Hey, what happened? Just repeating.
Yeah. Moral of the story is keep it cool. You get pissed, fine, but seriously, stay in your car, live another day. You never know.
It's true.
Yeah.
Or carry a bunch of banana peels with you. So when they get out, throw it down, they slip on the banana peel.
Okay.
Or you put it in their tailpipe.
Nice. Does that actually work?
No. I don't know. Everybody else cop. I ain't pumping no banana in my tailpipe. Yeah. All right. What else we got? I think that's it.
I got nothing, man.
Ask the nuts. Said slide will slide. All right. Brandon Mason asks, what are your early predictions for Wonderboy versus Masvidal?
Wow.
Blood is the early prediction. Someone's going to bleed.
I feel like it's going to be a good fight. I think they might be fight of the year contenders. That if they both show up, I mean, it shouldn't hit the ground. It should just be a striking display.
Should be, unless Masvidal wants to go there.
Yeah, maybe. That would be something.
I'm leaning towards Masvidal, just on toughness and maybe a little more versatile.
I feel like he's just going to jam up the Wonderboy. Just get right in his grill and just make it dirty.
Maya couldn't submit him. Masvidal.
Yeah.
And he said, wasn't that the, what was the compliment he gave him? Like, he has got some of the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC.
Yeah.
Damian Maya saying that about him? Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. I recall that. He couldn't get it. Even he had his back for a while. He couldn't do shit with it. Yeah. So, I don't know.
And he's on a tear. I don't know how many fight win streak. He's on 7 or something ridiculous. I favor Masvidal. Michael Brooks asks, he says, Pedro or Latifi and why? And you better pick the Aussie or I'm coming through the internet to rip your bloody arms off. This is a little Sweden versus Australia fight that's happening. I think it's on UFC 215 in the card that we give no fucks about.
I'm not watching that
It's
card.
13-5 versus a 6-0. Sweden or Australia? Who you take?
I'm going to take the Aussie every day. Aussie.
Aye. Is he a journeyman like Robert Whittaker?
He might be. Here we go. Causing trouble. I'll take the Aussie.
All right, I'm with you. Yeah. Hurry, Machado will close it out. It's time! Pound sign Nuts Roll, pound sign Matt Rabe Train, pound sign Ingo Sugar Daddy. Would you rather shit bricks or puke slugs?
Wait, like the worm
Physical.
slug or the actual physical?
Yeah, like Harry Potter. Did you see that? He's one of the guys that's puking slugs.
I'd shit a brick.
I'm with you. Puke is no fun.
No.
It's more aggressive.
Yeah.
Would you rather have your body found in a pile of sex toys or have everyone you know see your browsing history? Flip a coin. I don't give a fuck.
Whatever.
Either.
Wait, why am I in a... What is it, a sex toy?
Pile of sex toys.
Well, when I'm dead?
Yeah.
Then I don't care.
Right.
At least
you're
I
dead.
went out happy.
That's right. Just a bed of BBCs.
That's right.
Hundreds. Would you rather fight off a dog-sized cockroach or a horse-sized rat?
What the fuck? That's fucked up. I'd take the rat, I think.
A horse-sized rat? That's so frightening. I'm fighting. Holy shit.
The cockroach sounds scary as fuck.
No, it's only dog-sized. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, but those things are super strong.
Horse-sized
Think about how strong they are.
How do I get its back? I'm
A dog-sized cockroach would kick your ass.
way.
Think about how strong they are, as how small they are. Now they're dog-sized.
I'm going
Think
after
about me
that
flip a
thing.
building over.
The rat freaks me out.
A
Fuck
horse-sized
that
rat?
shit. Yeah.
Shoot that fucker in the face. Bam! Eat that.
I'm gonna shovel fuck that cockroach. I don't anticipate him being too fast. But I'm gonna hop on that
They are
fucker's
fast
back.
as fuck.
When I got on his back, what was he gonna do? Can't you just flip them on their backs anyway and they're fucked?
I don't know.
Like a turtle?
Isn't that a cow?
I don't know.
I forgot.
A cow? I think it's a turtle.
Is it?
Maybe it's a cow turtle.
I thought you could flip cows when they're sleeping,
Sure.
right? And then they
That's how you
can't
get
up?
chocolate milk.
That's right. What? I don't know.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill, the Jessica's edition. We got Jessica Alba.
Yeah, we looked at her before. I do like that.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah, very nice. Jessica Biel. And this picture, her face looks much better than that.
Oh, it's okay. I know. It's Justin Timberlake's wife, yes?
I had to pick that. And then Jessica, who's that? Chastain?
Chastain, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, damn. A ginger. Why do I know her?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm marrying the ginger for sure.
Okay.
She looks dirty. I like that. I'm going to have to kill. I'm sorry. Jessica Alba, you're going to have to go. Jessica Biel, I got to go with this. Kill Alba, marry, fuck Biel, and marry the ginger.
Okay.
I don't know. Jessica Chastain? I got to Google this now.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, I'm going to kill that one.
God damn, man. That's good stuff.
It was a tough call.
Was it?
Yeah, but I'm killing Chastain, Marion, Beal, and I will fuck Alba.
You're not into the gingers?
I am, but this chick looks dirtier. The Alba.
That's a good picture you picked, too.
As you peruse through here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's where I know her from.
Huh.
Interstellar. That was a wacky movie. You see that thing?
No. Should I?
Nah. It's not worth your time. Don't worry about that.
All right, let's pull up some knowledge. Did you see there was a flying armbar from a caught kick that won't pull up? This page isn't available anymore.
Instagram sucks.
So
No.
apparently we won't see that one. How about...
A flying armbar from a caught kick?
Yeah, the guy caught his kick, and then he decided to throw the flying armbar from that
Oh, wow.
and pull it down. Hopefully I can find that again and post it up. It's pretty sweet.
Sounds awesome.
And then... got this other ankle breaker. Hopefully this one will show up.
We have video of said celebrity doing the nasty, but it won't pull up. Sorry.
Yeah. I fucking hate when you found something and then you go back and it's gone. Happens so much. You've posted it, Should be there forever.
My favorite is still the. Oh, what the fuck? What is this?
It's called the ankle breaker. See that little man?
Let's see this again. What happened? Why did he fall?
He just got twisted up there.
Oh!
The crowd goes, oh! Let's see that again.
Is this midget basketball we're watching?
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Man got
Oh, damn, he pulled up on that guy. Did he make that shot?
I don't know. It looked like he took a taser.
Wow.
For the team.
Excellent.
Got any other?
No, I can't follow that one.
Game of Thrones. Not that we're gonna spoil anything, but just say.
It's been a week.
Best season.
Best season ever. Best ending ever. Let me just say, next season's ending finale of the show. I hope that they can keep this momentum, because if it's a big letdown, they might take the greatest show on TV ever and completely shit a brick on
Sopranos.
it. I hope
That's what
not.
I'm saying.
I would say The Sopranos last season was the worst season. The last episode was pretty good. I liked the ending, actually, the way it was. But the season overall was very weak. So I'm going to have to say that I hope they don't do that. You should take a page out of the Breaking Bad rule book and go out with a bang and actually close this fucker out and make it a... Have you seen Breaking Bad?
No. Fucking kill everybody.
Well, they didn't do that in that show. But maybe that's a good idea. Just everyone's dead. What are your predictions for what's going to happen in the next season?
I can't say it. Stuff that happened in the last episode kind of influenced that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
So we have to hold our thoughts on when the new season is about to start. Then we will make our predictions.
I think it would be safer. Because now we're only a week out.
See how cool we are? We don't want to spoil your shit for you. Go watch Game of Thrones.
Go watch it.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan and you haven't seen the season finale, go fuck yourself. Because seriously.
The shit's happening. People are dying.
What's wrong with you?
Throats are slit.
Get on it, man. It's been a week.
Things are dying.
More than a week.
Things are coming back to life.
Yes. Shit's happening.
Yeah.
Incest, rape, murder.
Oh, yeah. Lots of incest.
Fire and brimstone.
Blue boat rape.
Destruction.
Homicide.
Undead. Frozen. Fire. What else did I miss? Without giving it away. Said incest. Yes.
Yeah. Incest was a big one.
Said murder. There's definitely murder. Old acquaintances reuniting. New acquaintances banding together. It's all in there.
That's it. Better get out before we say anything else.
I want to say
Shut
more.
it down.
That has been this week's edition of MMA Nuts. My name's Nico Weigel.
Matt Griffith. Thanks for playing.